Hello, everyone. Welcome to the show. This is the Progressive Vibe. I'm your host, Dottie. Today is March 21st, 2021. This is season 3, episode 10, and today's title is The Importance of H.R.1. Welcome to the show. I hope everyone had a great week and is having a great weekend. Mine was pretty smooth. I cannot complain. On that note, guys, let's get into today's podcast plugins. First plugin is by World Wildlife Fund Travel. So in their e-newsletter, they feature exciting opportunities to observe wildlife in their natural habitat. Together with Natural Habitat Adventures, WWF is pioneering conservation travel so that your trip help protect the future of nature. Last plugin, if you want to turn your podcast into a blog to help grow your audience, WordPress.com is the place to do it. Again, to grow your audience with a podcast website, WordPress.com is the place to do it. I will be having more on WordPress.com at the end of this show, so stay tuned to hear about that. On that note, guys, let's get into today's show. Hey guys, welcome to the main show. So let's get right into this. The importance of HR1 is very, very important. And I'm going to elaborate on this a little further. So this is what I know of HR1 and how much of a huge deal this is for the Democrats going forward. I think that expanding the voting rights in this country goes a long way. I think it's the right thing to do. I think that shows actual democracy when you're giving people, everyone, an opportunity to vote. To me, that's a true democracy. So what I'm about to explain to you guys of what I know about HR1, I totally support and agree with. So HR1, known as For the People Act, this bill specifically expands voting rights. It expands voter registration. So, for example, automatic and same-day registration. The bill expands voter access. For example, vote by mail and early voting. This bill also addresses other provisions such as election security, which is very, very important. It's important that we all get an opportunity to vote in this country, but it's just as important to make sure that our elections is not only fair, but secure. This bill addresses other important matters such as campaign financing, ethics, which are also important. This bill was introduced by a Democrat out of Maryland's 3rd District. I believe his name is Representative John Serbanes. And this bill was introduced January 4th of this year. So, earlier part of this year. The bill was passed in the House, and the Senate received the bill March 11th. So, it was about a week and a half ago. The bill is currently sitting in the Senate as we speak. Now, it's all kind of reasons as to why the bill has not passed in the Senate. Mainly because you have Republicans not supporting or being in support in the bill in its totality. Because I'm going to get in a little bit to it later. Because in my opinion, I don't think that, and I feel like they think this too, but if you make it easier for people to vote, they're going to have less likely of a chances of winning in future elections. But I digress. I'm going to save that till my thoughts on it after um, the breakdown of HR1. So let me continue giving you guys some information on the state of HR1. So this was a post, the Washington Post to be more specific. This was an article from the Washington Post. This was written by Peter Stevenson. This was on March 5th. So it goes to say, House Democrats passed a comprehensive voting, elections, and ethics bill on Wednesday. Part of what they say is an urgent effort to fight Republican efforts in states across the country to restrict ballot access. If passed, the bill would mark a huge expansion of voting rights and a major overhaul on campaign finance and redistricting laws. Republicans say they want to stop it in the Senate. So, again, guys, as I was saying earlier in my epiphany that I had, um, the Republicans say they want to stop it in the Senate. And again, the bill has not been passed. If the bill was passed, it will go to the president's desk and he will sign it into law. But we know why the HR1 bill mainly isn't passing. It goes on to say Republicans at the state level across the country have proposed a wide range of measures, many in response to allowances that were made for voting during the coronavirus pandemic in 2020. It goes on to say the measures include curtailing eligibility to vote by mail, prohibiting the use of ballot drop boxes, and in the case of Georgia, where the GOP lost 2 Senate seats and which voted for a Democratic president for the first time since Bill Clinton's 1992 win, blocking early voting on Sundays. It continues to say that particular measure has been called a flagrant and obvious attempt to disenfranchise black voters in the state. The chairman of Georgia's new House Special Committee on Election Integrity, State Representative Barry Fleming, Republican, said his committee's mission is to, quote, restore the confidence of our public in our election system, end quote. An allusion to the false claims spread by former President Donald Trump about voter fraud in the 2020 election. Continues to say GOP officials in Arizona, Florida, Texas, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, all states that could have an impact on future presidential elections, are also considering legislation that would restrict voting. And I'm going to read this last bit right here, guys. It says, that's why Democrats are moving forward with their bill at the national level. And while it might not pass in the Senate, they want to put pressure on Republicans who have called it a political power grab. So I'm going to post this article along with the episode. I'm going to attach a link, I guess I should say, with this episode. So if you guys like to read more of this and check it out, it'll be with the episode. So I thought that was a very, very telling piece that we just read, because why wouldn't Republicans being supportive of equal voting rights in this country? It's because they want to suppress the vote. Uh, Preferably, they would like to suppress voters that don't vote for them. And we kind of know what group of people don't predominantly vote for Republicans. But I digress. When we come back, I will give you guys my thoughts on what we read and the current state of the Democrats, the current state of the Republicans, and how important it is that this HR1 bill gets passed. Stay tuned, guys, and we'll be back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. So I wanted to share my thoughts on the current state of the passage of HR1, the Democrats and the Republicans. So I feel like the Democrats know that this bill needs to pass. So I eventually think they're going to pass it regardless of Republican support. I don't know. Maybe it won't get passed, because I'm thinking about like now, well, it's going to take a very, very collective group to pass that bill in the Senate. It's very, very split in the Senate, and the Democrats don't have any room for error if they want to pass a bill that it seems like the Republicans are going to oppose. And all it takes is one Democrat, I guess, if I'm not mistaken, to strike it down, and it is struck down. So I don't know. I think that they're going to get that passed, because I feel like they know they need to. Now, again, maybe this is for reasons that shouldn't be the first priority, but I feel like they're going to pass it mainly because they know it's going to save their own ass. But as long as it gets passed, I'm all here for it. I think the main reason it should be passed, like the first reason that will come to my mind, is it's so many disenfranchised voters that would vote, but it's so many roadblocks and barriers that keeps people from voting. We make it harder in this country to vote, not easier, and it should be vice versa. So I think if the Democrats have any hope at retaining the House and the Senate next year, I think that they need to pass this bill, HR1. I wanted to give you guys a little tea that I found out, and you might already know this, but according to a person with knowledge of this this exchange, confirmed sources say behind the scenes that former President Trump was making phone calls to Republican officials telling them that they had to vote against HR1. Now, again, according to a person with knowledge of the phone call, said, quote, we might never win an election ever again if HR1 becomes law, end quote. And that's just so enlightening. And it's so telling because it's pretty much how I felt about the whole situation. Soon as I seen that the Republicans were against the bill, when I seen what was in the bill, I'm like, oh, okay. Well, the reason why is because they probably won't win another election because a lot of their ideals, and I'm not saying that I live in a conservative state, and some of my family, not saying that they're Republicans, but they have conservative mentalities. Like they have conservative things um, that they express when it comes to politics than I do. I feel like I'm a little bit more. Uh, I don't know. I feel like I'm a little bit more on the left side than they are, but that's fine. I mean, um, that's okay. I'm just saying that a lot of a lot of Republicans policies now, I mean, and ideals, they're just not as popular as they used to be, is what I'm saying. Um, but that's kind of how it seems Donald Trump thinks too. I mean, Donald Trump was a Republican president. And I mean, you have him, behind the scenes talking to these Republican officials saying, hey, look, like, like y'all can't pass this because if y'all do, you know, we were already unpopular to begin with. Like, you're going to make it so we won't win another major election. Um, I feel like that was really, really telling. Um, and I think the reason why is because it would expand absentee voting, right? It would expand absentee voting here in the United States, which would give people more access to ballots, therefore giving more access to people to vote. I mean, it just doesn't seem like the Republicans would want that. It just seems like the more people vote in our elections, it doesn't tend to go well for Republicans, as Donald Trump said himself behind the scenes. So that's just not from my account. That's from the former president of the United States account. I mean, President Trump has admitted this several times. This is not the first time he said this. He said this several times while he was still president. Um, and you have Georgia officials already putting into motion to restrict these limitations um, on the absentee ballots, as we were talking about in that Washington Post article. That's why they're moving so quickly to implement these types of measures so that their state law can trump the federal law. I mean, the Democrats want to move this motion federally. They wanted to make this bill a federal law, and you have Georgia officials trying to get in front of this and get that state law in there to not allow these measures to be a thing. Um, 9 times out of 10, it's going to go to the Supreme Court, where, to remind you, there are more conservative judges that sit amongst the court. So, in my estimation, they will have a good chance to side with the measures by Georgia state officials who's trying to not expand voting rights. If the state officials of Georgia say to the courts, for example, hey, we have already passed the measure for the state before H.R.1 was federally passed, the court may decide to go in the state's favor by making H.R.1, a no-go. So I think the bigger picture, to me personally, it seems like the Republicans don't want you to vote. They don't want more people to vote in this country. They rather make it more difficult than easier. Um, as it currently resides, the majority of this country is considered to be independent, meaning they will vote either way depending on what they see. And most of the time, it's Democratic. And that's what the Republicans, to me, have a problem with. I don't know when the last time that the Republicans actually won a popular vote, but they're not saying electoral vote. I'm talking about popular vote. I don't know when the last time. Maybe Reagan, which was years and years and years ago. But I could be wrong. But I don't. If memory serves me correct, they have not won a popular election in a decade. I know more than a decade. Um, so there's that. um, it's just Republicans don't bring anything popular to the table, and honestly, that's why they try to suppress the vote. The best way they can. I mean, that's why you have uh, gerrymandering. I mean, I don't know, when they get away with things like that, it disproportionately affects people of color specifically. It affects Democrats, but again, specifically, it affects people of color mainly. Um, so again, I agree with former President Trump on this note when he says Republicans might not ever win again if HR1 is passed. You know, I think they'll still be relevant, meaning Republicans, because of, again, gerrymandering, districts. I mean, they're going to be relevant, but if the I feel like if the HR1 was to be passed, which it should, I feel like it'll make it harder for Republicans to win on a larger level. Hey guys, I'm so sorry about the technical difficulty. My mic cut out for some reason, but as I was making my point on me agreeing with President Trump on Republicans might not win ever again. I mean, again, I think he has a point because, you know, if voting rights in this country were expanded, which they should be, it would definitely make it harder for Republicans to win on a larger level, such as the Senate or in a general election. Um, I do think that Republicans are going to continue to have a relevant presence in obtaining power in this country. And I'm going to go ahead and say it mainly because of heavy gerrymandering. But that's a whole different podcast for another day or another episode for another day. But yes, I mean, it's so many districts around the country that are heavy gerrymandered in favor of the Republicans. That's just the thing. So, you're going to have, places in the country that are Republican strongholds. But I do feel like, again, if H.R.1 was passed and it gave people a easier way to vote, to me, the left has the upper hand on more popular policies. I mean, it says that from data. It's just not me having my opinions on it, but this is data has shown that popularity leans more Democratic than it does Republican. But we will continue to see, guys, on the current state of HR1. When we come back, we will have the event forum of the show. Hope you guys are staying tuned and not being bored of my my ranting. But I mean, that's the show, guys. It's just a rant full of fun that we have here on this show. Honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. But yeah, guys, we're gonna come back with the event form of the show. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Hey guys, welcome back to the show. This is the event form of the program. Mondaire Jones on Twitter. He is, by the way, he's a congressman in New York, 17th district. He says, our democracy is under assault. The For the People Act is required to save it. I totally agree with that. As we were talking about in the early part of the show, let me go on down and see what else I can find. Dr. J_3 Club on Twitter says, I've never really done podcasts. Suggestions on good ones to start listening to. I'm going to like this and I'm going to do my little plug in because we follow each other on Twitter. Maybe he listens already. I don't know. But I've definitely shouted out Dr. J_3 Club in my previous podcasts. Last one. World Basic Income says on Twitter, we could start with 100% tax on all assets over $1 billion and take it from there. That would raise enough for a world #basic income. Totally agree. On that note, guys, that does it for the event forum of the show. We're going to come back and close out the show. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back. That's going to wrap it up for today's show. I wanted to elaborate a little bit more on WordPress.com, what we were talking about in the intro in today's episode. I'm going to not have a podcast next week. We're going to start a new season. So next week, next Sunday, there will be no new episode, but the following week there will be. I'm preparing to make a website. I'm going to have some stuff up for you guys so you can furtherly read into the show, and it's going to be like the latest episodes there. An easier way to contact me if you would like, to donate to the show if you like. It's just going to be a number of things. I'm kind of excited about it. I've already told some of my listeners that it's in process. So yeah, that's the so-called breaking news that I have for you guys. It really ain't nothing, but I do want to take my time with it and make it right. So I'm going to take a week off to make sure I want, to get the stuff in the blog that I want to have in it for you guys. So yeah, there's that. You can catch me every Sunday except for next Sunday at 4 p.m. This episode is probably going to be coming to you guys when you get it a little late, because I've been having some technical difficulties with my mic and my laptop. I'm getting some new equipment pretty soon. It's supposed to be on its way, so hopefully I'll be able to get that sooner rather than later, so we won't be having these hiccups in the near future. Thank you guys for tuning in to the show. Thank you for continuing to listen as you do every week, and sharing the show and giving me feedback, even if that's constructive criticism, or it's just like, hey, I disagree with you because of this and that, or just being like, hey, Dottie, keep doing what you're doing. I'm honestly here for all of it. To me, things go better when everybody is involved. That's white, black, Latino, Asian, yellow, purple, red, blue. It's just, I'm happy when I have such a diverse audience. I really, really am appreciative of that. And my international listeners, I appreciate you guys that's listening in Ireland and Australia and the United Kingdom and Singapore. I really, really appreciate it. On that note, guys, I hope everyone has a great week. We'll catch you in the next one. Stay positive, stay progressive. Love you guys. Peace out.